Hello and welcome to Business Weekly on Citi TV, where we bring you a wrap of all the top business stories for the week. My name is Pius Amihere Eduku. Coming up in this edition, 10 airline companies express interest to partner government to establish a new national airline, and the National Communications Authority begins the process to revoke the license of Expresso. In our first story, 10 airline companies comprising of both local and international ones have expressed interest to partner government to establish a new national airline. This is according to the Ministry of Transport. Now, the ministry says the transactional advisor, that is the PricewaterhouseCoopers, is currently engaging the 10 interested parties to evaluate and shortlist before inviting bids. In telecom, Citi Business News can confirm that the regulator, that is the National Communications Authority, has begun processes to revoke the license of telecommunication company Expresso. According to the NCA's Director of Engineering, Henry Kano, the prolonged inactivity of Expresso is affecting industry stakeholders and creating a shortfall in the revenue targets of the regulator and government. Expresso has been struggling to secure an investor for some time now. The development has led to a reduction in the company's market share to about 0.36% as at the first quarter of this year. To insurance now, where the National Insurance Commission (NIC) has served notice that 8 local insurance companies risk losing their licenses if they fail to meet the recapitalization requirement by September 30 this year. The NIC last year raised its minimum capital requirement for insurance companies and reinsurance companies from 15 to 40 million cedis respectively, in a bid to increase the capacity of the companies. Speaking to Citi Business News, the Deputy Commissioner for the NIC, Simon Davos, said defaulting companies risk liquidation if they fail to meet the deadline. Still on insurance, the NIC says it will soon make compulsory for public buildings belonging to government to also be insured. According to the Deputy Commissioner Simon Davos, the Commission will soon submit to the Attorney General a draft amendment bill which will make it compulsory for all government buildings to be insured. On the economy, government has dismissed reports that it has abandoned its decision to issue yet another Eurobond this year. According to the Minister of Finance, Seth Terkper, government is still considering the various markets and device strategies to pay off maturing debt. Government early this month suspended plans to issue its 5th Eurobond to raise about $700 million, proceeds of which were to be used to retire the country's first Eurobond, which matures next year. Staying with the economy, an economist, Dr. Lord Mensah, has warned Ghana against any move to quit its program with the International Monetary Fund (IMF). There have been growing calls from the TUC and other economic analysts for government to forfeit program with the IMF and devise measures to develop the economy. But Dr. Lord Mensah warns investors will be repelled away if government forfeits austerity measures with the IMF. Some good news for some taxpayers, because some categories of workers seeking upfront release under the country's Income Tax Act 2015 can now do so after the passage of the legislative instrument clarifying the groups that qualify. According to the airline, 5 of the reliefs, including marriage and responsibility relief, child relief, old age relief, aged dependent relative relief, and disability relief, can now be granted upfront. Per the airline, workers in the mentioned categories will not need to file their returns at the end of the year before accessing their reliefs. To our very final story, and the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana want government to assist them receive their monies from ship owners who have defied the order to suspend the implementation of the terminal handling charges. The business operators say the ship owners are still charging the terminal handling charges at the port despite government directive ordering them not to do so. And that will be it for this week's edition of Business Weekly on Citi TV. My name is Pius Amihere Eduku. Join me next week for another exciting edition.